Hello Greyhounds! As we are eagerly waiting for the fourth season of Ted Lasso to be released, why don't we take a stroll down memory lane to remember Easter eggs and pop culture references from 3 adorable seasons. Let's have a look at episode 3 of season 1, Trent Crimm, The Independent. Morning person Rebecca wakes up before her alarm clock to the sounds of Connection by Elastica. Elastica are another Cool Britannia era band, an offshoot of Sweat. They are mostly remembered for this song, Connection, but they were quite involved in the whole Britpop era, which is, let's say, too big to deal with in the scope of this video. Our next sort of pop culture reference of the episode is the ringtone of Higgins, when the phone call he receives from Rebecca interrupts the very silent breakfast he's having with his sons. We hear the opening bars of what appears to be George Thorogood and the Destroyers, bad to the bone. On a closer listen, the ringtone is a standard iPhone ringtone, which you can find under the classic category and piano riff. So don't read too much into it, okay? Ted has been busy sightseeing. He went to the Big Ben, probably the most iconic spot in London that you will definitely otherwise never visit unless you are a tourist. The common misconception is that this is the Big Ben, when actually the bell is the Big Ben. This is called the Elizabeth Tower since 2012, and before it was just called the Clock Tower, but everyone just calls it Big Ben. Anyway, Ted compares it to the Allen Bradley Clock Tower, a famous landmark in Milwaukee. The octagonal faces of that clock are actually almost twice the size of the Big Ben's, the Great Clock of Westminster's, faces. It's so big, it's used as a navigation aid to the people sailing in Lake Michigan. So Ted is doing well in the large clocks department. Ted and Keely are impressed by Rebecca's arms, with Ted likening them to Michelle Obama's arms. Instead of commenting on the fetishization of Michelle Obama's arms, I'm going to go do some push-ups. Do some half push-ups. I'm going to go watch a video on how to do push-ups. Ted gives his players books as presents. I talk about them extensively in this video. Ted wants Jamie to act so well that he'd win an Oscar at the ESPYs. The ESPYs are the sports award given by ESPN, America's famous sports network. In the same scene, Roy Kent references as the funniest thing he's ever seen the bunk bed scene from the 2008 Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly film Step Brothers, which... ouch. With Trent Crimm lurking at the sidelines of the training session, Ted extols the virtues of Nate, suggesting that Trent writes a profile on him like Gay Talese. Gay Talese is an iconic journalist who is considered, along with Joan Didion, Truman Capote, Norman Mailer and Hunter S. Thompson, as one of the pioneers of new journalism. A style of journalism in which the writer immerses themselves in the story and report from their perspective, a bit like long-form fiction, much like Trent actually did in season 3. Otherwise, we get some more Kansas references. Ted apparently went to the same elementary school as Jason Sudeikis, Brookeridge Elementary School in Overland Park in the outskirts of Kansas City. He also names a schoolmate, Ronnie Fouch, who would allegedly, put poop in candy wraps and offer them to kids. Ronnie Fouch, and this delightful anecdote will crop up again in the future, so keep an ear out. Ted takes Trent for Indian food, and if you remember Ted's server from somewhere, it's from episode 1. He was Ted's driver from the airport to Tower Bridge to Richmond, a most idiotic car journey in London. This was the first episode where we see Keely starting to consider Roy Kent, so let's talk about Roy Kent, aka Brit Goldstein. It's not hard to see where the inspiration for Roy came. There's a very similarly named legendary team captain, Roy Keane. Keane played for Manchester United as a defensive midfielder during their glory years, leading them to a Champions League trophy among other national trophies. He was also known for being a bit rough around the edges, similar I guess to our Roy. Brit Goldstein, who has won 2 Emmys as Roy, was initially a writer on the show, but during the writing process, he felt a calling for the role of Roy. So at the end of the writer's room, he taped himself and emailed the scenes to the showrunners. And he got the job, despite being afraid that he wouldn't, because he's unlike Roy in that he's soft-spoken and a big fan of the Muppets. Like a really big fan. He's even interviewed them. Goldstein has since gone to co-create a cool TV show and tap into the Marvel universe. He will be back for the 4th season in Ted Lasso too. Something to look forward to. And episode 3 marks the first appearance of absolute favorite Phoebe, Roy Kent's niece. We will see her again in the future. And that's it for episode 3 of the season. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking or subscribing. As always, thanks for watching.